Last year, I had one of those moments that hits harder than you expect. I was sitting at my desk late at night, looking at numbers that should have made me feel secure, and instead I felt pressure. Not the kind of pressure people see from the outside, the quiet kind, the kind that shows up when you realize a good income is not the same thing as a strong life. I know what it feels like to work hard, earn more, do what you're supposed to do, and still feel like the machine is always hungry. More bills, more obligations, more invisible costs. And the strangest part is, from the outside, it can look like success. That's why this conversation matters. Because one man can make $300,000 a year and still not be able to buy 6 months of freedom, while another man making less than half of that can walk away from work for 2 full years without panic. Same country, same economy, completely different lives. And that is the difference between income and control. A man earning $300,000 a year cannot buy 6 months of freedom. Another man earning less than half of that can walk away from work for 2 full years without panic. Same country, same rules, completely different lives. And that is the difference between income and control. Income tells you how much you earn. Control tells you how long you can survive without earning. If your job disappeared tomorrow, the only number that matters is how many months you can last before the pressure starts. And for most men in their late 30s and early 40s, that number is much smaller than they think. Not because they failed, but because they succeeded into a system that quietly consumes everything they make. I once spoke with a guy who looked like he had already won. High income, great neighborhood, vacations. Everything aligned with what success is supposed to look like. But he couldn't step away from work for even 6 months, not because he was reckless, but because every dollar he earned was already assigned before it arrived. Mortgage just under $3,000. 2 car payments over $1,000. Childcare pushing $2,000. Subscriptions, insurance, taxes, maintenance, the invisible layer that never shows up in highlight reels. What he built wasn't freedom. It was a system that required constant feeding. And once that system exists, you don't make decisions anymore. Your obligations do. And that's where the trap begins. Because in this decade, the most dangerous financial mistakes don't look like mistakes. They look like progress. They look like upgrades. They feel like you're finally catching up. But underneath that feeling is math. Math that compounds quietly and aggressively over time. Small structural differences today turn into million-dollar differences later. The mechanism behind all of it is simple. Your lifestyle behaves like a ratchet. It moves forward easily. Every raise, every bonus, every upgrade clicks you higher. Nicer car, bigger home, more convenience, but it doesn't move backward. Once something becomes normal, going back feels like failure, even when it's the smartest move. And over time, that ratchet tightens until your financial life has no slack left. Trap number 1. Confusing income with freedom. There is a moment that hits many men in their late 30s when income finally reaches a level that feels significant. 6 figures or more. And for the first time, money stops feeling like a daily constraint. You stop checking your account before routine spending. You don't hesitate at dinner, and a quiet thought shows up. I'm doing well now. But that thought is expensive. Because what changed is your income, not your position. I spoke with a financial analyst earning about $240,000 a year who had less than $40,000 invested outside retirement accounts. Not because he lacked discipline, but because his life scaled with his income. He bought a house at the top of what the bank approved, upgraded furniture, remodeled parts of the home, leased a higher-end vehicle. Each decision made sense on its own. Together, they created pressure. His monthly burn rate jumped from manageable to restrictive. And even though his income doubled, his savings rate declined. This is the core problem. Income can grow while freedom shrinks. Because if your expenses expand at the same pace, your optionality disappears. According to U.S. Bureau of Economic Analysis data, the personal saving rate was about 4.5% in early 2026. That is far too low to create meaningful long-term flexibility for most households. And Federal Reserve survey data shows median net worth is far lower than most people assume. roughly $135,600 for ages 35 to 44, and about $247,200 for ages 45 to 54. That is exactly why a high income can still hide a weak financial position. Psychologically, something shifts as well. In your 20s, you think in trade-offs. In your late 30s, you think in affordability. If the payment fits, it's fine. But affordability only answers whether your account can handle it today. It does not answer whether your future can absorb the cost. An extra $1,500 a month may feel small relative to your income, but invested at a 7% return over 30 years, that same amount becomes over $1.7 million. Which means every upgrade you justify today is not just a purchase. It is a trade. You are trading future flexibility for present comfort. And most people don't realize the scale of that trade until it's too late. Every financial decision has two prices, the visible one and the invisible one. And the invisible one is usually the one that matters. Trap number 2, buying comfort instead of buying time. Imagine two men earning the same income. One chooses a larger house, newer cars, and more convenience. The other keeps fixed costs lower and invests aggressively. 5 years later, their lives look completely different, not because of income, but because of structure. One built comfort, the other built time. And time is the asset that gives you control. Around your mid-30s, something shifts. You've been working hard for over a decade. You're tired. You want life to feel easier, so you start optimizing for comfort. Better car, more space, services that remove friction. None of these decisions are irrational on their own, but they are cumulative. Each one raises your financial floor. The minimum amount you must earn every month to maintain your life. And once that floor gets high enough, your options disappear. You can't leave a job you dislike. You can't take risks. You can't negotiate from strength because your overhead is making decisions for you. You didn't just upgrade your life, you traded leverage for convenience. And convenience compounds, just like investments. But in the opposite direction. Consider a 39-year-old who receives a raise and upgrades everything. Larger mortgage, new SUV, private school for his kids. Each decision justified, each one small relative to his income. But together, they add over $4,000 a month in new obligations. That's nearly $50,000 a year after tax just to maintain the upgrade. Over 20 years, that is over $1 million, redirected away from building assets. His raise didn't increase his freedom. It locked him deeper into his current path. Or a 42-year-old supporting an aging parent, paying for youth sports, managing home repairs, subscriptions, insurance layers. None of these are optional, and all of them add weight to the system. Or a 37-year-old earning well into six figures, but with most of his lifestyle financed. Car loans, furniture financing, travel on credit. High income, low net worth. Everything looks strong on the surface, but there is no underlying stability. These are not extreme examples. They are common. And that's what makes them dangerous. Because they don't feel like mistakes. They feel like life. Trap number 3, letting obligations outpace assets. In finance, there is a concept called burn rate, how much cash you consume each month. Companies track this obsessively. Most individuals don't. But your personal burn rate determines your survival window, your runway. If your burn rate is $5,000 and you have $100,000 saved, you have about 20 months of runway. If your burn rate is $12,000 with the same savings, you have less than a year. That difference is not theoretical, it is emotional. It is the difference between calm decision-making and constant pressure. Another critical metric is your financial floor, your fixed obligations divided by your take-home pay. Once that ratio moves above 60%, your flexibility starts to disappear. Above 70%, you are no longer building wealth. You are maintaining risk. Then there is your freedom gap, the amount left after fixed costs and essential spending. That gap determines whether you are building assets or just maintaining a lifestyle. Many men in this age group see obligations grow faster than assets because decisions are made based on future possibilities instead of present realities. Buying a larger home for needs that might exist years later. Committing to expenses that permanently raise the baseline. Each decision raises the floor, and every time the floor rises, your freedom shrinks. Trap number 4, Normalizing high overhead. The most dangerous trap is the one that feels normal. You look around and everyone your age has the same structure. Mortgages, car payments, tuition, subscriptions, travel expenses. It feels standard, expected. And when something feels normal, you stop questioning it. But normal does not mean optimal. It simply means common. And if most people are saving at low rates, then following the same pattern leads to the same outcome. Limited flexibility, delayed independence. Over decades, even small differences in savings rate create massive differences in outcome due to compounding. But you cannot save your way out of a structure that consumes everything you earn. You have to change the structure itself. The psychology behind the trap. The reason this pattern is so persistent is not because people are unaware. It's because multiple forces converge at once. Your income increases. Your peers upgrade. Social comparison intensifies. Responsibilities expand. And you're tired from years of effort. So you start saying yes to things you once questioned. And each yes moves the ratchet forward. The bigger home, the better car, the additional spending, each one justified, each one permanent. There's also a psychological effect at play. The upgrade gives you a hit, then it becomes normal. The payment does not become normal, it becomes permanent. And once something becomes your baseline, you need another upgrade to feel the same level of satisfaction. So you keep upgrading, not because you need more, but because what you have stopped feeling special. And that is how lifestyle inflation compounds, quietly and consistently. Until you look up one day and realize you are running harder just to stay in the same place. And here is the part nobody wants to admit. You don't feel broke. You feel busy. You feel responsible. You feel like you are doing what you are supposed to do. But underneath that feeling is a system that requires constant income to survive. And if that income stops, everything else follows. The real cost over time. Consider two men earning $180,000 a year. One has a high burn rate and saves very little. The other keeps expenses controlled and saves consistently. Over 20 years, assuming a 7% return, the second individual can accumulate several times more wealth than the first. Not because he earned more, but because he kept more. One built a lifestyle, the other built assets. One accumulated pressure, the other accumulated options. By the time they reach their 50s or 60s, their lives are no longer comparable. One continues working because he has to. The other works because he chooses to. That difference is not luck. It is structure. What you can actually do about it. You cannot undo every past decision, but you can stop reinforcing the pattern. Start by calculating your financial floor. Add up all fixed obligations that continue whether you make new decisions or not. If that number is above 60% of your take-home pay, you are entering the danger zone. Above 70%, you are already there. Next, measure your runway. How many months you can survive without income. This number tells you how much control you actually have. Then identify your freedom gap, the amount left after essential costs. If that number is small or non-existent, you are not building wealth. You are maintaining a lifestyle. Next, eliminate one fixed cost within the next 90 days. Not everything at once, just one. Sell the car, cancel the subscription, adjust the structure. Prove to yourself that the ratchet can move backward. Then automate your investing before you see the money. If you are not consistently saving a meaningful percentage of your income, you are not building wealth. You are building expenses. Then delay every major upgrade. Any decision that increases your fixed costs should face time, friction, and scrutiny. Finally, redefine what status means. Most people define status through visible consumption, but real status is optionality, the ability to choose, the ability to walk away, the ability to say no. Because in the end, the goal is not just to earn more, it is to need less. Because the less your life requires, the more control you have over it. And control, not income, is what determines whether you are free or just well paid. The window between 35 and 45 is where that outcome is decided. Every decision you make in this decade either buys you time or sells it. And most people don't realize which side they are on until the options are gone. If this hit a little too close to home, don't ignore that feeling. Use it. Tonight, calculate your financial floor, your runway, and your freedom gap. See the numbers clearly, because the moment you can measure the trap, you can start dismantling it. And if this gave you a new way to think about money, work, and freedom, subscribe and stay with me here. This channel is for people who are done looking successful and ready to become unshakably secure. No fake flexing, no shallow money talk, just real frameworks that help you keep more, stress less, and build a life you actually control.